first YouTube video. And we are going to start by opening a really big thing of soap. This is 25 pounds of glycerin base, clear, melt and pour soap. I don't know if you can really tell quite how large this is. Here's one of my cutters. Here's the spatula I use for soap. We're going to have to clean that before we get started. Don't worry, we'll take a break and take care of it. We are going to get that off of there. But this is what I start with a lot of times. Oh, here we go. Here's some comparisons that most of you will understand. Half a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon. So it's a really large block of soap. And this is where we start. And we cut off pieces, get it into molds like these. I have a brand new mold here, little animals, bugs, actually, because spring is coming, so we're going to do some springtime soap. And then if there's time, I'm going to do a little something extra as well. Okay, we are back, and it is time to cut some soap. So I put all this out thinking I want it immediately, and I don't. I'm going to bring this closer. So I just use a regular old kitchen knife for this part. And as you can see, as you might be able to tell, the soap goes in liquid. Because they're basically taking water, lye, oil, and glycerin and mixing it all together to make soap. And if you are, or even if you're not, I guess, familiar with the history of soap, we're pretty sure that the first humans very early on discovered soap in their campfires after rainstorms, because soap is a combination of lye, oil, and water. The lye works to combine or emulsify the oil and water, allowing it to bind. And so after rainstorms, there would be this weird stuff in the fire pit from the lye and the ashes mixing with the oil from the animals that they cooked and from the rainwater. So when you use melt and pour soap, you want to cut it up into smaller pieces before you get started, because it'll melt faster and easier, and it'll prevent the parts that do melt, or at least help prevent the parts that do melt from boiling while the solid parts are still trying to go. Also, it's just really fun to do. And I use these. These are just everyday funnel measuring cups that are microwave safe. So you chop up your soap and then you microwave it. You can use a double boiler also. Don't put it directly into a pan. You do want to have that double boiler so that you don't boil the soap. You don't want to boil it. Burns off a lot of the water that gets trapped in the soap, causing problems. It also can cause bad smells, especially if you're using a lot of store-bought melt and pour soap. Has more ingredients, and you can really start to smell the synthetic detergents as opposed to the actual soap itself. Once it gets to a boiling point, this soap here boils around 200 degrees. I've noticed. So I try to get it up no higher than 170. Once it's at about 170, the unmelted parts, or the solid parts of the soap, it's like melting an ice cube in water at that point, in warmer water. It starts to take care of itself. So I'm going to put this in the microwave. I'm probably going to cut another slab off and put that in the microwave as well, and we'll be back.